Jak and Daxter was one of the most charming platformers on the PS2, so why did the sequel start with 2 years of torture? As I'm sure every video will tell you, GTA 3 had a massive impact on the industry. Suddenly every game wanted to be GTA, and gaming became more focused on adults rather than kids. This is where that classic 2000s edge came in, and as a kid I was all for it. Yeah, give Shadow the Hedgehog a rocket launcher. I was extremely excited for Jak 2. I remember cutting out an advert for a magazine that showed Jak and his new dark side. Then I finally got the game and I don't think I liked it. At the time I didn't know how to explain why. I just remember thinking the first game was better. So after 20 years has my opinion changed? You play as Jak and Daxter just after the end of the first game. The door they opened at the end of the last game turns out to be a portal. A bunch of monsters come out of it. The gang go through, get split up and end up in the future. Yes, the future. This is supposed to be a reveal later on, but I don't think anyone would have been surprised by this. I thought it was the future when I first played it. The future is a dystopian city ruled by a tyrant dictator. Immediately, Jak gets captured by the local law and is experimented on with Dark Eco for 2 years, by Baron Praxis. Daxter manages to bust him out and now it's up to you to get revenge on the Baron. It's definitely different. It's a big tone shift from the light-hearted first game. This is best shown through Jak. In the original game he didn't talk. This is because they wanted the player to feel like the character. Here in the second one they're trying to tell a more serious story, so he needs to talk. His first line sets this up straight away.
I've been looking for you for 2 years! Say something! Just this once! I'm gonna kill Praxis.
You definitely couldn't see him saying that in the original. I'm glad it's canonical he didn't speak until this. They could have took the easy way out and said he always spoke. But no, he didn't speak during the intro, and Daxter will make a few jokes about how he's new to the whole chatting thing. It does help make it feel like even though this game is a big departure, the original game is still important. Jak has a good dynamic with Daxter, but he still isn't much of a character. He sounds and looks tough, but that's about it. Ratchet and Clank are definitely the more interesting duo. Because of the experiments on Jak, he has lost his light eco powers from the first game. They have been replaced by dark eco. This means when Jak gets angry he'll turn into a monster version of himself, claws and purple skin included. You would think this has to be something he has to control. He is full of rage and driven by revenge, because he was tortured for 2 years. It's a good setup for a darker side of Jak's story, but they don't do anything with this. Like, this just becomes a gameplay thing. The characters will talk about his angry side, but it never impacts the story at all. The game only forces you into dark mode once, and that's at the very end of the game. Jak never gets his opinion on it. Does he want to be cured? Does he have any control over it? I do as the player, but does he? They don't even try to rip off any Hulk moments. Like maybe he's about to die and dark mode saves him, or whilst he's in dark mode he hurts a friend. Or Daxter has to talk him out of dark mode through the power of friendship. We get nothing. It comes across as an afterthought. I'm not against the tone shift. I do find the original way more charming than this one. That game had a simple story that worked, whereas Jak 2 is telling a more complex story. I'm just not sure it delivers. The story is too fast, especially at the beginning. So right after busting out of prison, Jak runs into an old man and a kid who could introduce them to the Resistance. This old man and kid are very important. How convenient they're the first people Jak talks to. Then right after you meet with Torn, who gives you a task to prove you're worthy of joining the Resistance. At this point I want to slow down. Why does Jak not talk to Daxter about anything? It's been 2 years, why does he not ask his best friend where he's been? Daxter also seems clueless about the city. The old man tells Jak about the city and Praxis rule. Why is Daxter not telling him any of this? He doesn't even ask about Samos or Kira. Jak immediately joins Resistance and is doing tasks like turning on water or delivering cargo. Nobody explains the Metalhead situation to Jak. Later on it's like, oh yeah, there are monsters trying to destroy the city. Why is it not brought out immediately? It feels like we have to get to the missions. We can't set up the world properly or have any character development. The story does get better when you understand what's going on. It just feels like we skipped Act 1 and started on Act 2. To be fair, once the story settles down I actually started to enjoy the world more. It feels like the story isn't helped by the GTA mission structure. You'll go with different characters so they can give you different missions. But this leads to a lot of the story feeling like filler. Jak, go deliver a vehicle. Jak, go blow up a factory. Jak, go do your taxes. I guess all weakening the Baron, but this isn't shown to us, we're just told. Ooh, that really annoyed the Baron, you better take my word for it. Ooh, the Baron's getting angry. This is kind of it for a lot of the game. There is no we are coming up with a plan to get the Baron. Instead we're doing random stuff, but hey, at least you get a gun upgrade. Then we sort of get a plan where Jak has to win a tournament, and the prize is a visit to the Baron's palace. First, we've already been there before by taking an elevator, so I don't know why we have to bother with this. Secondly, we do win and go to the palace. Baron isn't even there and we leave. Like, what was the point? While I'm rambling, we don't even get to fight the Baron at the end. We spend the whole game going after him and he dies during a cutscene. I can't help but think a lot of this game feels pointless. I enjoyed the time travel shenanigans and I really like some of the new characters like Crew. He's a fat crime boss who was always a treat to watch. His design is great and I love his banter with Daxter. The more cinematic presentation and still top-notch animations do make every cutscene enjoyable, especially compared to Sly Cooper. This feels way more advanced. I just don't seem to care much for the actual story, which is a shame because the humour might be better than the first. Daxter is still the best character and is hilarious throughout. My favourite gag has Daxter always getting hurt when picking up an item. Then he catches on to this and lets Jak pick up something only to still get hurt himself. It did make me chuckle. Luckily, even if I wasn't sold on the story, Naughty Dog hadn't forgotten how to make a character feel good to control. Jak controls exactly like he did in the first game. He is still super fun to move about with. He still transitions between moves fluidly. So what's new? He gets a hoverboard this time around, which he can whip out at any time to perform sick kickflips. If you had a mascot in the 2000s, they were legally obligated to do at least one extreme sport. The hoverboard is quite enjoyable to use. You can perform tricks to gain a speed boost and grind on rails. This is using the platforming to add to your moveset. It is a shame then with this excellent movement that platforming takes a backseat to the action. Jack gets a gun. Unlike Shadow, this is a sci-fi weapon that can change how the gun is fired. It can be a shotgun, a rifle, machine gun, and a BFG area cleaner. Once you get this gun, you won't be using the melee combat much. You get drip-fed upgrades for it as the game goes on. It starts out as only the shotgun. Each new firing type comes with its own assault course to help you get used to it. It is stupidly hard to get a high score though. The gun is alright to use. Its design and sound effects are rad. I like how the gun actually transforms when switching firing modes. I also love how Jack will take a different stance for each one. He will stand with his legs apart face on with the shotgun mode, like he's trying not to follow it because it's so powerful. Then for the rifle he will stand sideways so he can be more mobile. He also likes to shoot like a gangster and hold the gun sideways for that extra cool factor sometimes. My only complaints are the gun feels very underpowered. The shotgun blast takes 2 hits to kill a common enemy. So do your melee moves, so why not use them and save the ammo? Speaking of ammo, it can be very limited. You get shotgun and rifle ammo a lot, but the machine gun ammo needs to be used sparingly. It can shred for enemies but not for long. The most annoying thing about the gun is the aiming. The game auto-aims in whatever direction Jack is looking, which can be incredibly inconsistent. I swear I'm looking at the enemy and Jack will refuse to hit them. This made one boss in particular extremely aggravating. You only have a few seconds to hit him, and sometimes even though the shots landed, he wouldn't take damage. It probably pissed me off. It works most of the time, but I would have loved the manual aiming mode. I would have also liked to be able to shoot whilst on the hoverboard. The enemy encounters do make good use of the gun to be fair. They chuck so many enemies at you at once. It can really feel like a fight to survive. The areas you fight in aren't too interesting, it's mostly open areas. The enemy variety is also lacking. For the metalheads it's fine. There are small, medium and large ones, and even big ones where you have to wait for a weak spot to hit. It's the human enemies letting the game down. There are red guards and yellow guards. They are the same, but one has more health. But I would say even the combat takes a backseat to the driving. This is where the GTA influence can be felt the most. You get a pretty big semi-open world to explore in Haven City. There's different looking and feeling districts. The architecture changes in each district. The slums where you start off look run down with cracks and patches all over the road. Then you pop over to the upper district and everything looks posher and cleaner. It does feel massive, especially for the time. I think it's because you can't see the end of the world like in GTA, or there is no fog to hide textures. It somehow feels bigger than it is. It's a good looking city which feels alive and definitely has its own identity. I just fucking hate driving in it. Jack gets hover cars and bikes to drive. The way the driving works is there are 2 lanes, high and low. Vehicles fly in the high lane and people walk on the low lane. You can switch between lanes at a touch of a button. All this is very cool and helps it stand out from other open world games. But in practice it does my head in. There's way too much traffic for getting around to be fun. Every vehicle feels heavy to steer. You're flying in the high lane, you're about to hit another vehicle so you switch to the low lane. The thing that makes this uber annoying is the amount of guards in both lanes. If you're in the low lane for more than 10 seconds you are bound to get the guards on you. Because every other person in the city is a guard apparently. If you hit them or enough people they will come after you. Same for the high lane. They are relentless at chasing you. They take so long to lose. And my favourite, the guards on bikes will kamikaze into you any chance they get, destroying your vehicle instantly. It could one-shot your health as well. Oh yeah, and they only have about 5 voice lands which repeat endlessly. Most of the game's travelling from A to B, there is no fast travel. Driving becomes tedious and annoying fast. This isn't helped by the layout of the city. It's a bunch of single paths you get funneled down. There are no shortcuts or you going off the path to make your own route. You have to travel back and forth down the exact same path for the whole game. And of course every mission starts on the other side of town. The fun part of GTA's open world was seeing the carnage you could cause. You can't really do that here. There is no wanting system where the guards get harder and harder. People turn to dust when killed. It's also very out of character for Jack to kill them. All vehicles feel the same, none are faster or harder to control. It feels like they wanted an open world like GTA but didn't understand what actually made it fun. It also doesn't help that most missions involve driving. Vehicles are very weak, so of course there's a bunch of don't let the vehicle get destroyed. I got so close to the end of some missions just for a kamikaze biker to take me out in one go. Then there is the protect or escort missions. Your allies die so quickly and are really slow. This game became a real test of patience. The only missions I really enjoyed were when the game felt like the original. Platforming through Mars' temple or the jungle was fun. I really enjoyed platforming across the cables to get to the palace. The view was breathtaking. The hoverboard level where you're chasing down metalheads was also great. It reminded me of the Zuma from the first game. Jak 2 is infamous for being difficult. Luckily for me I didn't find it as hard as others seem to. Don't get me wrong, there are a few hard sections, but outside the vehicle missions I got on fine. The checkpoints are basically non-existent on most missions, but this didn't bother me too much. It added to the tension. It can be a bit more trial and error than I like. Whoever made it so any ammo or dark eco you use doesn't respawn with you deserves to be shot. Just a giant middle finger to the kids back in the 2000s. I forgot to talk about Dark Jak's gameplay. This is because I forgot to use it most of the time. It takes a bit too long to fill out the meter. Then when you do use it, Jak controls too wildly. You press attack and Jak will go flying, sometimes to his death. I only ever used it to use the room clearer move. Other than that, it was too unreliable. It's strange how underused it is considering it was all over the marketing. It's weird that this game is the same high quality as the first game, presentation and mostly gameplay wise. It just so happens to be in the wrong genre. It's the best way I can put it. If they took all this and made it more like the first game, I would have loved it. But all this new stuff I really didn't enjoy. I said in my Jak and Daxter review I enjoyed every mission. Honestly, I can't say that here. There were way too many missions I never want to do again. I really wanted to like this game more than I did. I didn't want to replay it as a kid. 20 years later, I still don't want to replay it. I guess I wanted Jak and Daxter too, but that's not the timeline we ended up in. I kind of wonder if they didn't try to copy GTA, would Jak and Daxter be remembered more fondly? Like, they made this change to get a bigger audience, but this game sold less than the first, so was it really worth it? Jak 2 isn't a bad game. It's actually a really well made one. It's just trying so hard to be something that's different that it loses a lot of what made the original special. I understand why it has such passionate fans, but for me this is one of those sequels where it gets bigger without getting better. Time to rank it. It's going to be shockingly low compared to the first entry. I'm feeling number 73. The presentation and some fun gameplay are putting Jak 2 above Chasm, which is very boring, but I can't put it above World at War. That gameplay was alright from start to finish, and didn't have any frustrating parts like driving in Jak 2. New number 73. Hopefully Slide 2 is a better sequel than this.